Hey guys, it's Zach the Movie Fan. Yeah, no, two videos in one day. Crazy. I do have a reason why I'm doing this video now. I got plans to look at a bunch of films, a bunch of different stuff in November, and just in case and there's a chance I won't find a time to talk about this movie in the coming weeks, especially because I might need to work some more overtime because financial issues. So you know what? Fuck it. Let's just talk about it. I just got back from Seeing Shelby Oaks. This is a new horror film that's written and directed by Chris Stuckman and is produced by Mike Flanagan. It's impossible to talk about this movie without talking about Chris. If you watch content creators on YouTube, in particular ones that review movies, then the chances are you've probably heard of Chris Stuckman. He's been a popular movie critic and reviewer on YouTube since 2009. He's been on the site for a while. But yeah. I actually remember vividly, I believe it was last year, he said he was no longer going to be reviewing bad movies, and that caused a huge controversy and everything. I personally had no thoughts on it. It's Chris's channel. Chris is allowed to talk about whatever the fuck he wants to talk about. And I think any true fans of him can respect that. Yeah. I did also hear that he was working on a movie. And I was curious, and I was definitely curious what he was going to do. And well, here we are. I should state too, I'm going into this movie without any I went into this with no bias. I'm not really the biggest fan of Chris's videos. I don't hate his videos or anything, and I have mad respect for him. The guy's been on YouTube since the early days. Anyone who's been on the site for that long and has millions of subs deserves respect. I just don't find his videos as entertaining as, say, stuff from the Nostalgia Critic or the Angry Video Game Nerd. So I'm not really the biggest Chris Stuckman fan, at least when it comes to his content. So I mostly went into this with just seeing if Chris could make a good horror film. And my answer? Yes. I actually really enjoyed this movie a lot. I noticed that there are some people, at least some people online, saying that this movie is, I just didn't do it for them or something like that. And I can see that. This is definitely a movie that it really depends. This movie does use a lot of horror cliches, and I could see where it was going, but it was still very entertaining. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Also, there will be slight spoilers in this review. I know I already put that in the video description, but just a heads up. This movie's premise is very simple. It follows a woman named Mia who is trying to look for her sister Riley, who went missing a while ago. Riley did a paranormal investigations YouTube channel around 2008, and one day she mysteriously disappeared and nobody knows what happened to her. One day though, Mia gets one hell of a message from this random guy who commits suicide in front of her house. Um, sorry, I forgot. YouTube can sometimes be dickish with phrasing. I really hope the video doesn't get like taken down or something. Whatever. Anyway, anyway, this guy had a videotape on hand, and Mia believes it could lead her to where Riley is and what happened to her. And that's pretty much the premise of the film in a nutshell. It's just this woman trying to find her sister. The moment this movie starts, you could already tell that this was made by a guy who's a fan of horror films, because the very beginning of this film is a very clear homage to the Blair Witch Project, showing a bunch of the videos that Riley and her friends made, and it's very much in the style of the Blair Witch Project, right down to this camera crew doing interviews. Honestly, the thing that impressed me the most about this opening segment is the camera quality. As time moves forward, it gets harder and harder to work with older camera equipment, but the videotapes with Riley and her friends legit look like they came from a camcorder from 2008. It looks very authentic, and it really does add to the atmosphere a lot, I feel. Yeah. The acting in the film, I think, is really good, especially from the actress playing Mia. She did a phenomenal job. Like the scares in, I just should bring this up too. How are the scares? Well, I'll tell you this, I literally just got back home from the movie theater, and I actually had to turn my camera phone flashlight on because I was freaked out and it was dark. So I think that's a good indicator on how the scares are done. This is a very intense film. Chris clearly knows how to build great atmosphere, suspense, tension, and dread. And never feels forced. It feels well done. Feels very well done. And while the movie does use a couple jump scares, none of them are fake outs and none of them are cheap. The scares have legit good build up to them. Yeah. The movie is also... Yeah, a lot of what also helps with the atmosphere too is the soundtrack. The credits, I did see the guys who did the music as I was leaving the theater, as I was leaving the auditorium, but I don't remember their names, but I hope Chris paid them well, or Mike Flanagan did, because goddamn, they did a phenomenal job. This is one of the best horror soundtracks I've heard in a very long time. This is a legit unsettling score. It has this dark choir and everything that gives off a very that reminded me a lot of the soundtrack to The Omen. The sound combining the soundtrack with the sound design, and this movie has some very intense moments. Yeah, sorry, Yeah, sorry, I'm tired, and just trying to figure out what to talk about next. Yeah, that's, if there are any criticisms that I have with the film, they're mostly minor nitpicks, but I can see how this kind of stuff would not do it for others. Um, this movie does use a lot of horror cliches, um, and it did get to a point where I could see where the movie was going. Um, it didn't bother me though, because I was still very much entertained and disturbed. But I can understand how these cliches wouldn't do it for others. Um, you know, and you know, that's the thing. Some cliches people don't mind, others just make people really sick to death of them. So it really comes down to personal preference. I personally don't mind horror cliches as long as they're done well. And for the most part, they're done very well. The only cliche that I didn't care for was Mia tries telling her husband what's going on, and of course, he doesn't believe her and tells her that she needs help. And I get it, but yeah, that's something I'm really sick to death of. And like, how much more? Honestly, I was kind of thinking how much more interesting it would be if the husband actually did tag along with Mia. Even if you just like kill him off or something like that. Um, like at least it would be At least it would be different. Um, but yeah. Um, yeah. Also, I'm going to. All right, so I'm gonna go into major spoilers here at this point. So if you don't want to be spoiled by anything, stop the video here. All I can say is I really enjoyed this movie. It has a few problems, but I really enjoyed it. Shelby Oaks gets an A minus. Really go see it. Go see it whenever you get a chance. It's definitely worth your time. It's not the best horror film I've seen this year, but it's definitely the most intense one I've seen. All right, now we're going into the spoilers. So the movie reveals that that there's been something stalking Riley ever since she was a little girl. And we find out pretty early on that it's a demon, an incubus. And I'm going to say right now that I'm not very well versed on demonology, so just keep that in mind. Um, base, um, Basically, incubuses are this demon has latched itself onto Riley, and it's been like stalking her, ever since she was a little girl. The incubus himself actually doesn't do a lot. It's more like he uses others or possesses others to get his deeds done, and that does make him pretty damn intimidating. Like he's always kept in the shadows, and you never he's always kept in the shadows, and always obscured. But the imagery of this thing is a very striking image, and it does get under your skin. But yeah. Um, yeah. The movie, um, but like towards the end of the film, Mia comes across this old farmhouse owned by this old lady, who what turns out she's the mother of the guy who unalived himself in front of Mia at the beginning of the film. In fact, the movie reveals that he was actually the one that kidnapped them. That kidnapped Riley. Apparently this family kidnapped her and I guess forced her to bear the child of a demon for the incubus. Tyrion, I think they called him. Which I will admit was one of the things I wasn't expecting. I was very curious what they were doing with Riley, if she was still alive. And I will admit that was not what I was expecting, and it disturbed the hell out of me. But yeah. So they the mother the mother makes this, I think, blood sacrifice to Tyrion, in front of Riley's baby, and she bleeds to death. Mia takes Riley to the hospital along with the baby, and Mia starts to take care of the baby because she'd always wanted a baby, but she never found the time for it. However, while Riley is sleeping alone, she wakes up and tries to smother and kill the baby. When Mia tries to stop her, she accidentally pushes Riley out of the window, and she's eaten alive by demon dogs in a viciously grisly scene. And that's when the movie reveals that this was all part of Tyrion's plan. As Mia pretty much takes over the role as the old mother, now bearing this new child, destined to do horrible things for Tyrion. It's a bummer of an ending and incredibly chilling. I really enjoyed Shelby Oaks. I definitely recommend it if you guys haven't seen it yet. As always, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you like what you see here, like, comment, and subscribe, and good night. I'm gonna go to bed.